having that same dish that I had yesterday with the tomatoes, canned tomatoes, and the coconut milk. But this time I added curry powder, Indian curry, and boy, that took it to the top. It almost tastes like a 5-star restaurant or something. Really good like this. The curry brought it, gave it that little extra something. As a friendly reminder, I'm still living outside, and I have my Cash App and my books down in the description that I'm trying to use as income and donations. If you don't know the entire story, I'll make it brief. I lost my food stamps. My food stamps got cut off in August of last year. So I started panhandling. And I got a ticket last month for panhandling. So I didn't want to get caught up in the system as a panhandler. So I came up with the YouTube channel, and that's how this got started. But I'm still living outside, and I'm using the money for those 4 or 5 months I was panhandling. I saved up enough, and I'm using that to eat off of right now. And I have a dear friend, who's temporarily helping me with my MARTA pass. And so those things are taken care of, but the money's getting low, and there's no other monies coming in. So if you find it in your heart, and if you're willing and able to contribute to the Cash App down at the bottom, that would be great. That will help me out a whole lot. And my books are still on sale. Check them out. They're great books. And but that's how I've been making way since my food stamps got cut off. And for anybody who's willing and able to help. I'm going to reflect a little bit. I think I got the words to try to get people to understand the effect that I have on others and how others affect me. I explained it in my book, Becoming Kylo, but I explained it from my perspective and what I go through. But I never really understood the perspective from other people. But I think I understand it now, and I can probably explain it. My aura, my energy is very, 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 very magnetized. Probably more than anybody's energy I've come in contact with. It's a very magnetized field that I have. And whenever I go into a room or on a train car or anywhere that I go, all of the energy in that area just zooms into my space. It just like a magnet. And what it does is my energy actually balances out the room, balances out the space, not just with the people, with the environment, the sounds, everything creates energy. So my spiritual destiny and duties is essentially, the world is undergoing a great big balancing act right now. And I don't know if everybody understands that, but we're being balanced. We're being brought back into balance. And my essence is part of that effort. And what my energy does is it brings the atmosphere where I'm at into balance. And if there's people in my space that's resisting that balance, I feel that. And it's very painful and it's uncomfortable. Usually, when that happens, the average person just kind of allow themselves to be brought into balance, because more than likely it's a temporary moment. They could be having a bad day, a bad moment, a thought that's really insane or just something that's got them disturbed. But then there's others who live in a state of imbalance. And what they tend to do, it feels like, from what I've been told, it feels like what my energy is doing to them is taking them away from who they are. Bringing the space into balance. For some people, it feels like there's a force that's taking them in a place where they don't want to go. And what they do is they try even harder to stay grounded in their imbalance. And I feel that. There's nothing I can do. Okay, I'm not consciously doing anything. All of this is happening subconsciously with me. Only thing I can do is sit in it and let the energy do all the work until the discomfort subside. Now, there's a different element that's involved in this too. There's an element where it's more of a warfare. These are people who have an energy that's a little bit more than just resisting change. It's a little bit more than just resisting change, because that's essentially what's happening. Is the average person is resisting the change that they feel going on inside of them. But there's an energy that's a little bit more than that. That's a whole nother story. I'm not going to go into that in this video, but that's a little bit more painful, and it involves a whole heck of a lot more of outside influences for me to become comfortable again. But the average imbalance and the average discomfort that comes from most people is them holding on. You know, if they feel like they're slipping away, they're going to hold on even harder. And I have to just deal with that pain and that discomfort as the energies work it out. So that's what people feel when I come in their space. So that's what I've been dealing with for 13 years. I haven't been able to describe it like that, and I don't even know how well I did this time. I hope you guys understand where I'm coming from with this. But my perspective, I can explain it pretty easily. And like I said, it's in my book, Becoming Kylo. It can get a little bit more deeper than that, but in a nutshell, that's pretty much how I affect other people in the way they affect me, energetically speaking. So just wanted to let you guys know, give you a little bit about that. Do today's political climate have a spiritual element, or is it politics as usual?
I would say absolutely there's a spiritual element to it. What it is, I don't know.
Okay, so you do believe that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do.
All right, and that's about all you want to add to it?
That's about it. I mean, we're spiritual beings, right?
Right.
So, yeah.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah.
I don't really know nothing about none of it.
Okay.
Both?
Both?
Yeah, I feel like it's a lot of like spiritual warfare involved in politics. Just to, how do I explain it?
You don't have to be specific, because I don't want you to be political, but just
Yeah, I think it's both.
I agree.
I think it's spiritual warfare, and then I think
Okay.
I think it's both spiritual and politics. I think they just make it out to be politics, but they have evil tactics behind it. That's my opinion.
Okay, all right. Say again?
Politics as usual.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I don't think it's like all that spiritual.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's politics as usual. Same thing happens like every 4 years, 8 years,
Yeah.
Same old.
Same story.
I hear
different
you.
people.
I hear you. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, ready? Yeah, I think today's political climate does have a spiritual element. I think everything in our world has a spiritual element, honestly. And I think us being unaware of it makes us ignorant to it. But I think once we raise our awareness of things, we know like the motivation behind a lot of things that's happening in politics. So
You're right. Okay. Well, thank you for that answer, sir.
I gotta answer. I think yes, because of like the integrated like religious topics into modern politics. So I think it does have a spiritual like edge to it now. So yeah.
So because of the religious aspect of it.
Yeah.
Okay. And what did you want to say?
Oh, like how would you define spiritual climate?
Well, I'm in this question, I mean an unseen element that's divine. An unseen element that's in politics today that hasn't been there before.
I don't think the spiritual climate, but I feel like with politics is terrible.
Without being specific, yeah, I understand, because I didn't want it to be a political question, just more about the spiritual element of it all.
Yeah, no, I definitely think there's a spiritual element in the political climate.
Okay, all right, well that's good. You don't think
Really
so?
at all. It's power. It's all about power. I feel like when you get into like more local stuff, you might get like maybe not spiritual, but like you definitely get like more community driven things because like they've seen things, so they like typically are like, I'm gonna run for local something. But like once you get a taste of power, it's really hard to let go of it. And then when you get to the higher upper echelons, you're actually enacting big sweeping change.
So it's just politics as usual.
Yeah.
I hear you, man. All right, thank you for that answer.
Your soul, but like in more of a pragmatic kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I feel like it became so organized, religion in general, but like even spirituality, because like even like meditation and yoga became like a commodified thing.
Yes, it did.
And as opposed to like going in the woods and finding
truly
yourself.
connecting.
Yeah. And I feel like even if there's like not necessarily money or power, there are like some sort of optics involved in like being accepted. But that's
Just
that's
not from the true heart, from the grassroots of the soul. Nothing's
for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like we are creatures that seek belonging. So like I can't really blame like people for even going for power, because power is a sense of
Belonging.
need of belonging. If I have power, then people will like revere me. I belong, and I can't really get mad at the way that the universe, God, whoever made us, because that's kind of how we're driven.
Mm-hmm. But is there a change? That's how we're driven, but is there a change? Do you see that? Do you see something happening, something stirring?
A change?
Mm-hmm. Something stirring in humanity that could reverse everything that you just said about that coldness.
It's really hard when like in the old adage that like the world is run by like money and power, like they kind of are synonymous, and like I don't really know what the change is.
Okay.
Other than like comedically like.
So do you feel a change within yourself? Do you see yourself becoming more of a spiritual being?
Yes, I do, because like for a while there I deal with a lot of distress in my life, not even like external things coming in, but more internal things. Proliferation inside, so like I think a lot of it is like we're kind of we're flying too close to the sun.
One more time?
We're flying too close to the sun.
Okay.
With technology, specifically technology, and comfort.
So technology doesn't have a spiritual element, you think?
I feel like there's maybe they can be stepping stones towards things, but eventually like I think that we will use technology as kind of a
divisive,
a device, a crutch,
a crutch. That's a good word.
Like a compulsion, and we think that we are moving in that direction, kind of like like meditation is great,
right?
And then a meditation app is fine to get started, but eventually
I see what you're saying.
We don't need to
become dependent on technology because it stifles us, and that's what you feel like that may happen if we get dependent on technology.
Yeah.
It'll stifle our spiritual growth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because like we no longer like can accept what is, and like we need to either cover up or like distract what is to feel a sense of
Connection.
Because like a lot of technology and a lot of like society is kind of run on comparison, and it's really hard to just be and to accept that as is. And you know, I'm crippled by it also. You know, like
I'm guilty of it myself too.
It's like being aware doesn't mean that you've solved it.
It doesn't mean you're perfect.
You know, it's like you're partially away there, but like.
Well, they say this is a journey that's endless, so we'll never get to some space that we all think that we can get to. It's an eternal journey. That's what they say.
Yeah, I think that like we got hung up on like goals and like success, but like I've achieved and I've done a lot of really incredible things that like my younger self couldn't even fathom me doing. I've done those things, but how long did that last? You know, once it's over, you know, what am I doing? Where am I looking? The next goal. You get caught chasing the dragon. That guy high. And
that's for another subject, because I will probably do another YouTube video on that right there, because I do want to dive deep into what you just said about that. But I do appreciate your answer, and it was very in depth, and I like that. Okay, and what's your name?
Thomas.
Thomas? Okay, well, Thomas, check out my YouTube channel, and I do thank you for stopping and answering that question. It was brilliant.
Yeah.
I would say that, yeah, it does. It does got spirituality, it absolutely does. I mean, it's very obvious. This whole thing is spiritual because there's two sides, right? And you see a lot of not so good stuff, and you see some good stuff, right? So I think the biggest thing is when the spirituality is in regards to when God created man, God created man in his image after his likeness. He gave him his willpower. And so with that, he gave everyone the opportunity to make a decision. To make a decision is a part of spirituality. To have that ability, to have that right. It could be something as small as figuring out what shoes you want to wear, or as grand as, you know,
life-changing decision.
Life-changing decision. You see what I'm saying? It's just kind of how you look at it. So absolutely, for you to see an imbalance of power and you to see power struggles, that's definitely a sign of spirituality, bro. It's quite obvious.
Yeah, there you go. I agree. Thank you so much for that.